Everyone's trying to be like Marvel now. Marvel started this whole universe thing, and now DC's trying to do it. Ryan Murphy's doing it with American Horror Story. It's not a bad idea. It's just if you don't do it right, it's fucking horrible.
And then too many people put their hands in there, and then it becomes a train wreck. On top of that, with superhero stories or with Ryan Murphy stuff, there's too many characters. Like, there's too many things to care about. Like, we can't have fucking 3 superheroes and 15 villains in one movie. That's too much. All right, Vince. Welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
How many times have I been on this?
This is your
This may be my third time, because then you came on ours.
Yeah. I finally got the invite.
We don't dual guests a lot. I don't know why. It's just hard to organize it. Our schedules already suck. So to add like another person into the mix, it makes it even worse.
I know. I try to email people and get people scheduled ahead of time, but it's a whole job to do this podcast thing.
They don't tell you about that.
Yeah,
they don't tell you about that.
We started it as a joke, and here I am a year later.
I started it thinking 4 episodes in I was going to have a contract with Barstool Sports.
Oh, yeah?
and then episode 5 came and went.
Yeah, that's
and then 7, and then we just had our 57th episode. We're not far in front of you.
No, you guys started a little bit ahead of us.
We did. When did you guys start?
About 5 weeks, I guess, after you.
No, because we had like we started recording the audio in July, and then I don't think we put anything out until like the end of July. I think our first episode was July 22nd, 2020.
Our first episode here was August 31st. So
okay, so like a month
today.
Oh shit!
Yeah. So
today's your actual 1 year anniversary.
Today's the actual anniversary, but we recorded 3 episodes before I put anything out.
Oh yeah.
So I don't count I guess the 31st is our.
We had like our 1 year recording anniversary date, and then like the 1 year premiere date.
Yeah, the premiere date definitely was August 31st.
You do a few episodes in advance though, right? Like this won't come out until a few weeks from now.
This will be next week.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so I'm not that far ahead. I used to be way further ahead.
Yeah.
And then people stopped answering my emails and texts. So
then you got back. Then you were like, shit.
Yeah, so,
I just love to look around. Yeah. Every time I come in this office, I feel like there's something new.
It changed a little bit. So we got the logo on here. I don't think that was there last time.
No, it was just the black top.
I'd have to look back at the video, but I don't know if that banner was there. I think it was the hook grip one.
You know what? You might be right.
Yeah.
Wow, look at you guys just like advancing, becoming better.
Oh yeah.
We did one remodel on our set before we stopped doing video.
Yeah, but you got the green screen.
I do. Do you know how much of a pain in the ass it is to set up?
I do, actually.
It's the screen itself probably goes from wall to wall here. So you could, like your whole wall would be green screen.
Yeah.
And then it comes with the setup. You got to set up the one whatever this thing's called, tripod. And then you got to set up the other one. And then you got to feed the green screen through. And then it's all wrinkled. So then you got to iron it.
Yep.
And then you got to smooth it out, tighten it. It took me an hour and a half to set up. And then to take it down was painful.
And you have to light it.
I mean, the lighting's not the problem. My lighting's, we had pretty good lighting. I will say.
Track lighting on the top, right?
We don't. We had the one ring light and then 2 lights like that. They were a little bit smaller than that, though.
Okay.
But the lighting was always we always had good lighting.
Yeah.
I remember for like our Halloween episodes, we would dim the ring light so the lighting got spooky. So stupid.
You got to do those things.
We do dumb shit on our podcast. If you haven't listened to my podcast, listen to my podcast. It's stupid.
Superfriends, sit down.
What's going on with you? Podcasting.
Oh,
new baby.
So here's the thing about podcasting, right?
We all got
into
like 4 million things on your plate.
Nothing else to do during this pandemic thing, and as you know, it's become sort of like a little hobby.
There's no hobby in it anymore. It's just a job.
It's a job that doesn't pay.
Well, I always said, I was like, if I just showed up and like had to record and then that was it, I would love it.
Yeah, but what would you talk about? You have to talk about something. You have to be interesting. You have to be entertaining, and like.
I'm all of those things regularly.
But it's hard, man. It's not easy.
No, it's not easy. You gotta come up with a skeleton, a plan. You gotta have fallbacks. You gotta edit. You gotta do lighting, the angles. It's the audio levels, and we've been doing it for over a year, and I'm still fucking up audio levels. and I barely touch the audio. I'm like, as long as I can hear Alex at the same level as me, let me lower my voice, and then he'll sound loud.
Yeah. But you guys use, you record on one track, the audio.
No, it's 2 tracks.
2 tracks.
2 tracks.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not that low class with 1 track. I do everything through GarageBand though. It's actually really easy.
Yeah.
But we only have 2 mics, so when we do like actual
like guests
and stuff, it's complicated. I was gonna think about going. Have you ever seen like podcast? It's like rooms that you rent to record. So then like they come with the setup, and then they give you all the mics, they give everything, and then you just get the raw cuts. I thought about doing that. I just didn't have enough time.
Where can you do that?
There's a place in the city I know of.
Really?
But there might be a few places in New Jersey. I know this one podcast I used to listen to all the time. They started like a little studio, but then I think it just became too much work for them to upkeep it, so then they stopped. But yeah, we just raw dogged it with 7 people, I think once. No, 6. 6 was the max.
That's what you did
and 2 mics.
Past couple weeks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, how'd you do that? How'd you manage that with 2 mics?
Well, I was very emphatic on make sure you guys enunciate and be vocal. And then the mics, I just turned them all the way up and then just down enough so it wouldn't blow out. And then I put them in the middle of the table. And there were 3 people on a mic. And I know I'm loud, so I don't have to worry about, like, I'll pick up on your mic. That's how loud my voice is.
But it won't pick
loud.
up as much as you think. Honestly, I can play it for you later. Like I could see your track is way louder than mine.
Yeah.
So I could turn you down just a little bit. But
see, for me, whenever I record it, me and Alex, it's the opposite. I'm the top track, and he would be the bottom track. And I'm like, am I not being loud enough? And then I listen back, and I'm like, no, you're fucking loud. Shut up. I remember there was one day the track was barely moving, and it was like there would be little spikes when we would laugh, and I was like, are we not going to be able to hear anything? And then I listened back, and I was like, wow, this is loud for a little bit of tracks.
What was going on with it? Why was it?
I don't know.
That's weird.
Just the way I guess it registered. Like sometimes it registers a lot of like sound waves, and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah, GarageBand.
Not even GarageBand. Just I guess like the way it receives the like everything, all of it as a whole, even our interface and the mics and
yeah.
It's a lot. I remember I tried to get like a splitter attachment so I could plug 2 mics into one input.
Yeah, but that wouldn't work.
Did not work.
That's a bad idea.
The guy at the store, he's like, yeah, you could do it, but it might like mess with your audio frequency. It might give you a little bit of static if the mics are too close together, but then you can't control the audio level, so you have to make sure those 2 mics are at the same level and those people stay at those levels. And I was like,
you can't separate that at that point. Like it's basically going to go into one track.
But we tried it because we did a collab with another podcast. Oh shit! Why did I forget the name of their podcast? Hold on a second. Let me look this up. Back something. The Back Door? No.
Backdoor podcast?
I don't.
What's that one about?
No, not even that. It's just they do. I know the one guy's name is Beam.
We're very black and white.
Back Porch Podcast. Back Porch Podcast. They do a lot of like deconstructed like analyses of things. So when we went on, we did top 5 90s soundtracks for movies, and then we had 4 people with top 5s, and I was like, maybe we should each cut it down to like 2.5. So we can agree on one movie to talk about, and then have your own little soundtracks to talk about. That was a lot of work. That was probably they sent us an outline, and I was like, oh wow, so this is what real podcasting's like.
So how long was that podcast?
We ended up cutting down our lists. I think we each chose 3 movies to talk about the soundtrack of, but it flowed pretty quickly. I think it probably was a little over an hour.
What was your list? Top 5.
My top. So for 90 soundtracks, I chose Urban Legends, Clueless, and The Craft as my 3. And then I had Scream, and what was my other movie that I chose? Oh, Jawbreaker.
I don't remember the soundtracks on any of those.
It's very interesting. You have to like go back and look at them, but I chose soundtracks that help tell the story of the movie, because I'm very big on like music should be pushing along the narrative of the movie, and if it's not, then what's it doing there? So like this, like the album for Clueless, like that's really just a 90s time capsule of a movie. It has all different types of songs in there. If you're a 90s fan, you'll like the album. The Craft was just good at storytelling with the song. So like some of the songs you'd never fucking know. It's a little bit more bleak of a soundtrack, but the lyrics of the song really help push the narrative of the movie. Like there's a scene where a girl gets assaulted and then the song starts playing and it like the lyric is I just want to be a woman, and it's very somber and sad. So it goes with it. And then Scream just had a good soundtrack. And so did Urban Legends. Urban Legends had a good soundtrack because it was just, again, good 80s, 90s music. Like Love Roller Coaster's on there in the middle of like a murder scene. It's great.
Are you into like more horror genre?
I am. I'm very big on horror. I actually want to go see the new Candyman so bad. But I like more horror, thriller, sci-fi than anything in terms of movies. But I also have like a really sweet spot for 90s horror because that was like a really good time for horror movies. Especially like Wes Craven. That was probably one of his like peaks. Was 90s. He did Scream. He did A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
He had a ton of franchises. Those are probably what he's known for most.
Yeah.
But
he's got like such a horror name.
Absolutely.
Wes Craven.
May he rest in peace.
Yeah.
I remember I went to go see, there was a theater, this is pre-COVID, there was a theater that did a showing of A Nightmare on Elm Street, and me and my friend Jen went to go see it, and while we were in the audience waiting for the movie to start, we found out that he passed away. And I was like, well, now this is an in memoriam movie screening.
Yeah, see, I never got into like horror movies.
Why?
Like the Rob Zombie horror movies. Like I'm not into that gore movie. I'm into like
let's take a quick side turn. Rob Zombie doesn't count.
No, it doesn't count as
Rob
horror?
Zombie doesn't count to me. I have never liked. I've seen all the movies that I wanted to see that he came out with, and they've all disappointed me. Halloween, Halloween 2, House of 1,000 Corpses, fucking shit. I hated it. The Devil's Rejects, I think he did too. Wasn't a fan of Rob Zombie. His style is not for me. It's too,
he has a unique style.
It's
that's for
too
sure.
gory to the point of like you lose the realness.
Yeah.
For me, a movie's not scary unless I could walk out of my house and that could happen to me.
Like Saw 1.
Saw. That there are certain mile markers like along the timeline of horror movies that change the way horror is done. Wes Craven changed the way horror was done with Scream in the 90s. 2000s, Saw changed the way. Saw should have stopped at the first two movies.
After the first movie, the second movie,
the first movie was great.
Weird.
The second movie was really weird because they added so many more people into it, and it's just a victim of like the franchise of like, okay, well,
we got to keep
start churning them out.
Yeah.
But like really creative ways of doing movies. Two people in a room. Oh. We're getting a phone call.
Hello, Wes Craven.
What's your favorite scary movie?
All right, I ended that call. They didn't tell me the scary movie.
I'm trying to think of other horror movies that really were. I like movies that have a good plot behind them. Like Candyman's a good plot. I like movies that have to do with like urban legends and like folklore, like old shit you hear when you're growing up. So I like those kind of movies. I'm not so big on like the fantasy stuff, like magic and like sci-fi aliens and all that. It's cool if it's done right, but like zombie movies, I'm so done with zombies.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of zombie movies. Like I can't watch The Walking Dead. It's not for me.
Never watched an episode.
I've tried.
I've never watched The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, and people are always like, how have you never watched it? Because I didn't wanna.
Yeah,
I didn't wanna.
It's not my style.
So what is your style?
All right, so let me ask you this about, are you a Kevin Smith fan?
Yes.
Okay.
Jay and Silent Bob.
So he's got a couple movies. One I think was really, really well done. Another one I think...
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back deserved an Oscar.
Yeah.
There actually... Wait, I'm sorry. Jay and Silent Bob, I was just thinking about this movie the other day because there was a scene in Jay and Silent Bob with Scream, and Shannon Doherty plays the girl getting attacked by the guy, takes off the mask, and it's a monkey, and she goes, fucking Miramax, cut!
Yeah.
And then Wes Craven's like, Shannon, I'm the director. Wes Craven was in that movie.
Yes, that's true. That was Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. You know, like he even went way beyond. And now he's still doing Jay and Silent Bob, and I think Clerks 3 is coming out.
Yeah.
Which is like, I get it. But at the same time, it's like, come on, dude. Like
they're doing it because they're listening to the fans, and I think that's the problem. I think that's the problem with movies and TV today is too many people are listening to the fans and not just writing their own stuff. Like they're too influenced by what the fandoms want.
I don't know if he's listening to the fans as much as he's just writing stuff that he feels like writing. It's basically just, maybe. I want to make a movie with my friends, and it's going to be the same movie I've been making for the past 40 years.
But that's it. It's like, well, the fans want another sequel. All right, I'll make you a sequel. I'll regurgitate the same storyline.
Yeah. Well, what I like about him is that he does those Q&As, and like he films that, and that's always so much more exciting than the movie.
Yeah.
So I like that stuff. But the two movies, one I think is really well done. The other one I think just missed, and it was like it could have been so fucking cool.
Kevin Smith movies?
Yes.
Okay.
Red State.
Oh, I never heard of that.
Dude, that movie's fucking awesome.
Red State.
It is about.
I have a list in my phone of recommendations for watching things.
Please go watch Red State. It's a crazy movie. Like, and it's about these like evangelical church people that abduct like kids who are like they basically like blackmail them.
John Goodman. Okay, yeah, I'll watch it.
It's a crazy movie. I'm not explaining it properly at all. Crazy evangelicals who kidnap people and murder them. Let's just leave it at that. And it's fucking it's good. Like that one hit. The next one is Tusk. I don't know if you heard about that.
Tusk I've heard of. I've never seen Tusk, but I've heard of that.
So Tusk could have been just as cool as Red State, but they showed what the guy creates with it, and it's just, oh man, if they didn't show it and everybody just died and then this guy was just a mass murderer.
I do remember seeing breakdowns of Tusk as a horror movie, it being like on these like towns of like weirdest plots in a movie, because that's the one where he like makes
he turns people into walruses.
Well, Justin Long was like the guy that he turned into. Did he turn other people into it in the movie, or just him? Was he like the main focus?
It was just him in the movie, but there were others before him.
Why would you want to turn someone into a walrus?
The guy went crazy. I don't know. Like that part, like it didn't bother me because he's.
I'm nosy. I'm a nosy bitch. I want to know everything.
They'd probably go over it, but like at this point, like when they show Justin Long as a fucking walrus, spoiler alerts, guys, on Tusk. I don't know.
This movie came out in 2014.
It came out
spoiler alert. Fuck off. We have a rule on our podcast. If it came out over a year ago, fuck your spoiler alert.
Yeah, it's a spoiler. So they show Tusk and he's still alive. Like it's just just fucking make him die. There's no way he would have made it through that amount of skin grafting and complete transformation. It'd be ridiculous. But I understand that this was like a Twitter movie where somebody gave him an idea and he just fucking ran with it. But it could have been so fucking cool. Like this murderer just abducts people and tries to turn them into walruses for fun.
Should have been a shark with a laser beam.
And there was like their job was a podcast.
Was it really?
Yeah, they were podcasters.
That's great. I like that.
Their podcast name was Nazi something.
Neo-Nazi?
The Nazi Party. But not N-A-Z-I, like N-O-T-S-E-E.
The Nazi. Oh.
So really stupid, but...
If I had to do like a stupid play on words, I'd probably do the garlic Nazis.
Garlic Nazis, yeah.
Because I'm Italian.
So those are two Kevin Smith movies that I think one was really good. The other one could have been really good. And then I didn't even bother watching Yoga Hosers because that was funny.
I don't think I've ever seen like one of his more serious films. I usually stick around for his comedy stuff.
Yeah.
I remember he was on Degrassi once, and that was...
Well, didn't he produce that?
I think so.
Produce or direct or something like that. He did. I know he probably
had some
a couple
involvement.
Episodes. He just randomly directs episodes.
Of everything. Anything.
He just puts his name on stuff.
His daughter is actually a pretty good actress.
She's in Yoga. She's in Tusk also.
Is she?
Yeah.
She was in she was in this show back to the 90s called Cruel Summer. Have you heard of that? That aired on Freeform, which I thought was supposed to be like this like ABC Family reimagined thing, but they really stepped it up in terms of what they're allowed to produce and put out now. It's a good show. I won't give no spoilers. I'll say it takes place in the 90s, but it takes place in 3 years in the 90s, consecutive years, and each episode takes place in all 3 years, and it jumps back and forth, and you see all the characters as they move on.
Those are kind of fun when they jump back and forth, but then it gets like kind of too jumpy if they do too much.
Well, so that was the thing. I like that because it keeps me interested, but I don't like it when it's done too much for the sake of doing it.
Yeah, it's like
so there was a couple episodes where they only jumped to like 2 different years instead of all 3, and so it's just got to work for the story.
Yeah.
But they did it really well, and they did it in a way where like each year you could tell it was that year just by looking at how the characters were. Like dress, their hair, their makeup, all that. Very, very big on like the physical appearance of years.
Yeah, I like that. I do like when it jumps around because it's like Quentin Tarantino. He'll jump around with the story. But he ties it all together. So I'm really into that. Obviously, like who wouldn't be? Who's not into that? But there are some movies out there that are fucking horrendous and should never be made. And I know we were talking about this a little bit, and I gave you a list. I don't know if you watched any of those movies.
I know. I remember Bird Box was one of them.
Yes, Bird Box. How awful a movie. How did that get greenlit at all? And they probably spent
Cassandra Bullock.
A ton of money on
Cassandra Bullock.
Why did she even agree? I mean,
Sandra Bullock probably got paid a handsome amount of money.
A lot of money. I would do it too.
And Netflix said, you don't have to worry about whether or not this gets good or bad reviews because every fucker's going to watch it.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
But what's so funny is like the discord of people reviewing that movie and then how it so quickly turned into like the pandemic of like cover your eyes. Why would I want to do that? I want to know what it was. Yes and no. Like would I watch it again? Probably not. Would I watch a sequel or a prequel? Maybe. That movie and The Quiet Place. Those 2 movies, they leave me with too many questions unanswered, and that makes me not like the movie, but it makes me eager to watch a sequel to see if they answer those questions.
Do you ever watch the movie like repeatedly to see what other people are they're saying about it? Like, did you miss something?
I always
like if everybody's like, "Oh, that movie was incredible," and you're just like, "I don't fucking get it. That movie sucked."
So me and my co-host Alex actually have plans to have a rewatching of the movie Hereditary.
No idea what that is.
Hereditary came out in 2018.
Okay.
And it was advertised as the scariest movie of the year. So, of course, I had to go see it. Sat down, watched this movie. I'm watching this movie, and there's a very prominent scene where a little girl is having an allergic reaction to peanuts. The brother is driving her home. She's sticking her head out of the window trying to catch her air, and the brother is driving and smacks her head against like a pole and off the street. And like I chuckled in the theater at that. And people were like, "Did she just die?" And I was like, "Did I laugh at a girl dying?" Because then like this is probably one of the most realistic things that I could think of is like the brother's driving the car. He hears what happens. I don't know if he looks at what happens, but he just keeps his eyes forward and keeps driving home. And then gets in the car, like gets out of the car, goes to bed, and then wakes up and the mom finds her dead the next morning in the car and screams. But it just wasn't scary. It had some really weird, and it had some really stupid, like, horror movie tropes that I'm so sick of seeing. It's like, oh, look at this lovely poem that's written in a language I don't know what it is. Maybe you should read it out loud while I light these candles and burn some products. And then you curse yourself. It's like, you can tell when something's written in demon. You can tell when something's like not really, you shouldn't read that out loud. You can maybe like skim it, sound out a word. Don't read it out loud.
That's why when you see things written in demon, you don't read them out loud.
No, absolutely. Otherwise, then you end up with naked people outside of your house while you're trying to possess your son with the dead spirit of your daughter through your dead mother.
That's what you want, though.
No.
You want the naked people.
It was so bad.
Is that what that was? Naked people outside the house while you
so, towards the climax and the end of the movie, all these like dead people, I don't know if they're dead or if they're part of a cult, if they're like whatever, but they're just butt naked and smiling. And they're just creepily like surrounding the house, I guess. And so the movie ends with the son getting possessed by the spirit of the dead daughter because the mother's dead mother cursed them. I don't even remember. It was so dumb. And like so many people have said how good it is. And me and Alex have the same like it fucking sucked to us. If you like it, good for you. If you didn't like it, come talk shit with me.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. We'll We can ruin.
We can do an F this movie on that. I would love to. I would love to actually rewatch it and take notes about how poorly it was done.
That's what I had to do for.
But it was an M. Night Shyamalan movie, and that's what fucked me up because I was like, "Where's the twist?"
Oh, sometimes his movies are not. They're okay. You know.
That's the problem. I was just like, "Oh, okay." It was another that you had a big name actress, Toni Collette, as like the lead. She had really good scenes and like the writing for her was good, but everything else just didn't flow. There was one scary part in the movie where the son's in school and he like looks over at a like cabinet and there's like a mirrored background in the cabinet, and so he sees himself, but it's like not him, and he like raises his hand up, takes his like head and smacks his head down into the book and like breaks his nose. That was the only cool part of the movie for me. And then Toni Collette, she just did like these creepy like replicas of things. So she would do recreations of scenes. So she recreated the death scene of her daughter.
Yeah, that's what you do.
However you grieve is however you grieve.
Yeah, you know, so it takes different ways.
What was another movie that you said that was shit?
I Care a Lot.
All right, so I didn't see that. I didn't see that movie.
You can watch it.
I don't need to.
All right.
I watched. There's a thing that Netflix does on YouTube called We Like to Watch, and so they have two of my favorite drag queens sit and watch something on Netflix, and they just make funny commentary about it. So if I don't know if I want to watch something, I'll watch them watch it, and if they recommend it, it's good. I'll watch it. But that movie, the only thing I could say is like that woman and the vape were so annoying.
Dude, all right,
just. Like this huge piece of machinery in her hand to smoke for what?
Let me lay
while you're stealing all this money.
This lady basically conned her way into taking over people's lives and becoming their legal guardian,
conservator,
whatever.
If you know anything about the Free Britney movement, these movies share a lot of parallels.
It's fucking similar to that.
A lot of parallels.
It's similar to that, except for
these people are actually old.
They just older, don't need. But there's nothing wrong with them at all. They haven't gone crazy. There's no record of them going crazy. So she pays off the doctor to just go in front of a judge and say, "Yeah, these people are fucked up. We have to take control." Yeah. And those people are not allowed in the courtroom to defend themselves. So, this is the worst judge ever. He's like, "Oh, well, that sounds right. All right, cool, take it over. That's fine. Sign the life away." Every time.
Yep.
It's like, what the fuck is going on in this movie? That can't be how it works.
And then doesn't she like sell all her shit and
sells all the stuff,
like put them in a home?
Yep. Keeps all the money. They pay for them to go in a home, and then they're put under this care where it's like, they're not allowed to talk to anybody in their family. They're not allowed to have contact with the outside world. They're stuck in this home in a chair. All right.
Oh, and then like that one, and then the actress Diane Wiest. Don't they like con her into being a part of it?
All right, so let's get to that.
Because that's when it, like the part of the movie really kicks off, right?
First of all, Diane Wiest is a fucking incredible actress.
Yes,
she could have been a beast in this movie.
I know.
The problem was, and you keep waiting for it, right? You keep waiting for her to just like turn the tables. Oh, you're fucked. You're gonna regret this. And she keeps saying that, but nothing ever actually fucking happens. So it's like a huge disappointment. And she's supposed to be the mother of this Russian mob boss played by Peter Dinklage. I don't know if you know anything about Peter Dinklage.
I know a good amount about Peter Dinklage.
But one, he's not very menacing.
No.
Being 3'6". No offense to any little people out there, but if I'm gonna cast a menacing Russian mob boss, it's not gonna be him.
Where did the casting process go?
I don't know. In this movie, it all went out the window. I think they just saw him on Game of Thrones. Like, yes, he could be a good boss. This will be a good movie. It'll be plausible. First of all, he's supposed to be fucking Russian. He doesn't have any Russian accent. Doesn't speak Russian. Does nothing. So that takes me out of it immediately. And that's not a major fault. But I mean,
if you're going to do an accent, you got to do it right.
If you're going to play a character, like, why did he have to be Russian? He could have been fucking anything. He could have been Irish.
Yeah.
Like, isn't he English?
I don't know, actually. Peter Dinklage's heritage.
Doesn't matter. You know what he's not? He's not fucking Russian. So
Russian accents are really hard to do too. So if you're if you try to do a Russian accent, you're most likely gonna fail, unless you know how to speak Russian.
It wouldn't have been good.
No,
it wouldn't have been good.
No,
even if he tried, it wouldn't have been bad. And I'm glad they didn't try, but I wish they just didn't go that route. Anyways, so they got this guy who's not menacing, and he eats fucking pastries every time he's alone and pissed off. Very weird.
You don't eat pastries when you're alone and pissed off?
He's just sitting there eating a fucking chocolate eclair.
Those are delicious.
What the fuck is going on in this movie? Then
realism.
then he's talking, and the whole time he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. You're trying to take my mother. Where's my mother? You're trying to do this thing.
So Peter Dinklage is Diane Weist's son in this movie.
Yes. Spoiler alerts. Fucking I Care a Lot sucks. I don't care if you didn't watch it. Movie fucking sucks.
But where was the effort?
There was none
in casting like a believable family.
There was none. There was no effort in this, and we'll talk about that in a second. But then he's like,
Netflix used to try harder.
Oh, dude, do you know what they tried? They just blast movies at you.
Now
and
they
then
do.
You watch it and you go, what the fuck is this? And then you talk about it on a podcast.
I won't watch Netflix original movies anymore. I'll watch like a Netflix original series, a Netflix original documentary. I won't watch a movie.
I give like an episode for like the
depends on what it is. Yeah. Like there's this thing that just came out about aliens on Netflix, and I really want to watch that. I just haven't had the time to sit and watch it.
Yeah. There's a couple things that like...
I'll watch documentaries about aliens more than a movie about aliens.
Here's the problem. Here's a big problem, and it's with everything. It's not just Netflix. Like, every streaming service has their own, like, movies and things going on.
Yeah.
And there's just too much. Like, I got to choose between Apple TV, Hulu Plus...
There's too much, yet
Prime.
there's never anything on them.
Because you don't know what to watch. You don't know what's going... You don't know what to get behind because... The movie studios are cranking out garbage. You're not watching commercials anymore because you're watching paid Netflix services where there are no commercials. So you're just scanning through fucking titles. Mm-hmm. You have no idea what's going on. You're not getting behind anything. It's just you're watching Netflix's service or Hulu's service or Amazon Prime, and you're like, you don't care.
All right.
This is too much.
As a person who has a plethora of streaming options, I have to say Netflix is trash now. Netflix is good for those shows that you used to watch years ago, that they have them all on Netflix and you just want to put them on for background noise. Hulu's has some good like original shows. The Handmaid's Tale. There's some good miniseries. They get a lot of American Horror Story now is exclusive to Hulu and FX. So like Hulu's kind of nudged Netflix out in terms of being like top dog. But then those were the only two you really had to compete with for a while. And then now you got Peacock, HBO Max, Paramount Plus, Discovery Plus, Disney Plus, all these pluses. HBO Max, top tier streaming platform right now. Top tier. Because you got all the good HBO shows. You got good HBO movies. And then HBO has deals with the movie studios. So like now movies that are coming out in theaters are coming out on HBO Max. So even if I don't want to see that movie in theaters, if it's for free on HBO Max, I'm going to watch it. I got suckered into getting Paramount Plus. Because
another one that you don't need, but it's there.
You don't need, but it's there. And there's actually some good content on there. I will say that if I'm not watching HBO Max, I'm watching Paramount Plus. And then if I'm not watching Paramount Plus, I'm watching Amazon Prime. If I'm not watching Amazon Prime, I'm watching Hulu. And if I'm not watching Hulu, I spit at Netflix and I put on YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. I'm watching YouTube a lot. That's the thing.
I've gotten into this cycle of watching things and then watching people dissect them to find the meaning. There's this one YouTuber... His name is Passion of the Nerd, and he does these really specific breakdowns of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel. And he takes so long to put out new videos, so I'm itching for one. But he'll do like a 30-40 minute video explaining the symbolism, the breakdowns, the Easter eggs, the clues, all on that. And then there's another YouTuber named Think Story, and he'll do that with like American Horror Story, and I need that because I watch American Horror Story and I'm just entertained. I don't pay attention for the clues and the details. So when I watch his, then I'm like, oh, I missed that.
So essentially, it's become the streaming service puts out the show, and then YouTube puts out the special features.
Yeah. We've gone. I was actually having this discussion the other day because people don't care about producing good content anymore because they know content creators are gonna provide a great commentary about it. So it's not so much about like this is a great body of work. It's like let's put something out so that way people talk about it, make jokes, make memes, and then they promote it for us for free essentially.
Isn't that so fucking weird that that's the way everything sort of gravitated towards?
Influencers are the new celebrity.
It's so fucking crazy.
I just watched a video of a drag queen doing makeup next to Iggy Azalea as opposed to Iggy Azalea being like on a nighttime show. Because now like late night TV, people don't watch that shit no more.
Yeah.
People barely watch like Fallon, Kimmel, Conan, if they're even still doing it. I know Letterman has a show, I think it's on Netflix, where he does interviews with people.
He basically does late night, but on Netflix.
Well, now, what I like about the way things are transitioning in terms of content coming out is because when you would go on a talk show or a TV show, like, you're not allowed to ask certain things. You're not allowed to talk about certain things. You're not allowed to speak certain ways. But now when you like go onto like a YouTube channel, you only have to abide by like YouTube's rules and guidelines. So you can't say certain words. Otherwise you get you won't be able to monetize the
get
video.
A strike or something like that.
You only get a strike if you do something really fucked up.
Yeah, we're not gonna get strike because nobody cares about us on YouTube. It's all right.
Well, like people who get striked, it's like
when it's really egregious.
Commentary on content creators and influencers has grown so much on YouTube. So there's like channels that discuss drama between content creators, celebrities, YouTubers, Instagram celebrities, all those things. So then like you're allowed to say so much about them before it becomes like, well, now you're defaming me. And now now I'm going to sue you for defamation. So you can report this video, and if YouTube sees that like you're defaming like a certain person's likeness, then you'll get striked. And then if you get 3 strikes, I think your whole channel gets just like gone.
Yeah, it gets deleted.
There's this one YouTube channel. They actually have pretty good content called H3 Productions, and they right now have 2 copyright strikes against them.
Wait, H3 Productions. I know who that is.
H3. Ethan Klein.
I know what that is.
They had a really good show called Frenemies, and I missed that show so much.
You know, it's weird because it multiplies by that. Like we'll start a channel, and then you'll have other people start a channel about our channel.
Yeah.
And then it just multiplies. That's so fucking crazy that's the way things have gone.
Roll with it. That's what I say.
We're stupid because we don't do like current events topics. So I think that's like a.
I try to. It's just tough because I have so much pop culture reference knowledge.
Yeah.
That doesn't match up with my co-host.
Yeah.
So like I have a huge selection of shit. Like I have a Rolodex I just flip through and pull a joke out of to reference something, but he won't understand it because he doesn't watch or know the content behind it. So I'm like, well, it's not really funny for you because you don't know what it is, but it's funny for like my type of people who would listen to it.
So you have different audiences on your own podcast.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
but I think that's one of the things that is good because I bring my audience, he brings his audience. And that was one of the things that worked for one of the H3 shows called Frenemies because it was 2 people who didn't like each other sitting down and recording a podcast every week. So they would fight. They would get into these huge arguments. Like the one co-host, they would storm off, fight all the time. But it was great content. They were pulling in like 3 million views for a video.
Yeah.
Making fucking whop on those streams. I don't know how YouTube works in terms of like monetization. I'm sure you only get like pennies for a view, but you get 3 million views, it builds up.
Yeah, I mean it's probably about advertising and views, and I think it's per 1,000 or per 10,000 or per 100,000 views, something like that. And
there's a website that you can track people's YouTube like their
content, and
not their like how they're performing on YouTube. I think it's called Social Blade.
Yeah.
And that's how you know like if people are actually making money on YouTube or if they're wasting their time.
Well,
because if you're in the red, you're losing money on YouTube.
Like a lot of it is you're not really making money from the advertisers. You're making money from the viewers and selling stuff to them through your descriptions and posts. Like if I want to sell programs, that link is in there. So every once in a while, somebody will buy a program or buy a T-shirt. Hey, you can check out the link in the description for that. We got some fancy T-shirts in there.
This is the part where like the click here shows up.
Please click the links in the description. Thank you. It helps me out.
Click below
and subscribe. But yeah, so that stuff is cool. I mean, I'm nowhere near getting paid at all for this. This is just basically a jobby, like we were talking about.
Yeah, I wish that I was better at like the pushing of things. I just do it for fun. Like the work that goes into it is obviously a lot, but like this part, the sitting down, the conversational part is just fun. Yeah. So I don't think about like, comment, subscribe, rate, review, interact, blah, 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 blah. Like I can't, I'm not that good at being a salesman when I'm just trying to be me.
If you see my videos, I'm not very good at it either. So I'm like, please subscribe to my video.
I'm like begging people for a like. We'll suck dick for a comment.
Please
review my podcast 5 stars.
Yeah, but that's what we've become. Like we've become. Please do this for me.
But
like, what do you get? You get entertained by me for 15 minutes.
There you go. But that's just the way it is. That's the new way of doing things. It's like advertisers don't want to pay for commercials on the Super Bowl anymore. No one watches the Super Bowl. People watch YouTube. Advertisers will pay for a sports review channel to review the Super Bowl rather than put a commercial in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it definitely gets more views.
Absolutely.
So I was talking about this with some other people. Sports has changed completely since like the 90s. I don't know if you're big on sports, but so
no.
Even you go watch an old baseball game, old hockey game, like the advertisements on the stadium are like next to none.
Yeah.
Then you pull up today, the stadium.
Oh, billboards.
There's fucking green screens of advertisements going on behind the batter, behind the stands. The entire stadium is catered just to have people in the stadium, but who cares about the game? Like the game is there as like a side.
Yeah.
If you want to watch it, there's also a game going on. But we have restaurant, we have sushi, we have arts and crafts over here. You could buy merchandise. You can get.
It's all about making money.
It's fucking crazy.
I mean,
they got to pay these guys absurd contracts. So
that's how they got to make their money somehow.
Yeah, no, I know.
You got baseball players getting like millions of dollars for signing just to sign, not even playing a game.
Yeah,
their signing bonus is millions of dollars, let alone like what they get for actually playing. Sports is interesting because like those contracts. Imagine like you sign a contract. It's like, all right, well, here's a $3 million signing bonus. You're gonna get $10 million a year, and then you're gonna get an extra $1 million for every home run you hit.
I really should have played baseball and paid attention better because I feel like that would have been like the easiest sport.
If I was more sportsman-like, I probably would have been a football player, but not very sportsy.
Yeah, but you in baseball, you don't have to do anything. They have athletes that just hit. That's it. They get up to the plate 3 times a game. That's all they do. Whether they do well or not.
Right. It doesn't matter.
Then they have guys who just pitch to one batter. Oh, you can make a shit ton of money. I pitch only to left-handed batters after the 4th inning and before the 8th inning.
That's one of the good things about who was it? I think was it Michael Jordan who had it like a clause in his basketball contract that he could play whenever, wherever, and if he wanted to. So if you had him down for a game and he didn't feel like playing that night, he's like, no, not playing.
Doesn't sound like him because he's very competitive, so he probably would play.
I forgot who it was, but I just read an article about like they had a clause in their contract and it was like for the love of the game.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not gonna play a game if I don't want to play the game because I'm gonna do poorly because I don't want to play.
I mean, maybe it could.
Let me see. Let me Google that.
But
then.
Here's the thing about Jordan, right? Yeah. And even Jordan to LeBron. We can go that route. And in today's culture, it's just crazy, right? Like, every athlete has an opinion about the world. I mean, dude, you fucking sell sneakers and you play basketball. I don't care about what else you do.
Michael Jordan had a love of the game clause in his contract, allowing him to play basketball against anyone, anytime, anywhere.
Well, you know what? That's fine.
But that's smart, because look at him. You look at Michael Jordan.
He's still number one in my book.
Yeah, he's still great because he wasn't forced into doing things. Right. Look at Sandra Bullock. She probably had a contract. She couldn't back out. Had to fulfill it. That I Care a Lot movie. Diane Weiss was like, it's just money.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I'd love to get paid to just do that, but even though it's a bad movie, Diane Weiss has her career. She's fine. Like, she's established. She just fucking like I can just do
that's what people like will say, but to the new generation of people who are buying things, no one knows who the fuck Diane Weiss is.
That's true, but
go ask Eric outside who Diane Weiss is. See if he knows 3 of her movies.
And there's our Eric.
Hey, Eric.
In the podcast edition.
But like, go ask him if he knows who Diane Weiss is. See if he knows who fucking Kiefer Sutherland is. See if he knows who.
I know that one. That's 24. That's
see if recent. He knows who Christy Brinkley is. See if he knows Kirsten Sutherland. See if he knows Holly Marie Combs. See if he knows all these people who have like really amazing careers, but haven't been in shit in the last 10 years because they're living off their residuals.
Which I would love to do, by the way.
That is great, but like, at what point does it run out? How many times is Practical Magic going to be shown on TV and Diane Weiss is going to get a check for that?
That's true, but she doesn't have to prove herself. Is my point.
No, like, she doesn't.
She's already an established actress.
She probably didn't even have to read for that role.
She just wanted to do a movie, whatever.
Yeah.
It happened to be a shitty movie, whatever.
Everyone has a few.
I was talking to somebody about Robert De Niro, And
Robert De Niro.
His comment was, Robert De Niro fucking sucks. I'm like, are you out of your mind? He's one of the best actors on the planet. He just happens to make shitty movies lately.
That's the thing. Well, that's the thing is all these stories, like it comes down to like, do you blame the actor? Do you blame the writer? You had this discussion with Eric in your episode because do you like who do you blame for where it goes wrong? And the answer is a very simple everyone.
I blame the fucking producers for
blame everyone because the director was like, yeah, cut, print, that's great. The writer was like, this is the best. The person who approves the script says, oh yeah, that writing's fine. The actor then takes the writing and now makes it their own because they've got to build the character. And say you're a director, you've only directed about 4 movies, and now you got Robert De Niro as one of your actors. How the fuck are you going to tell him how to act? He knows what he's doing. You're a new director. You're going to sit there and tell Robert De Niro, maybe you should do that line again, try it this way. Robert De Niro's going to fuck you.
Well, that's what happened with Kevin Smith and Bruce Willis.
Did it really?
In Cop Out.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so they met.
Bruce Willis.
Oh, stupid story that I don't know. I'm sure a bunch of people know. But Kevin Smith met him on the Live Free or Die Hard set.
Oh, really?
What another horrible fucking movie. And then he's like, yo, I'd love to work together. So then Kevin Smith was directing Cop Out. He was in it with Tracy Morgan. Had a horrible experience with Bruce Willis because Bruce Willis is a fucking real actor. And Kevin Smith,
no one has a bigger actor than no one has a bigger ego than an actor.
Yeah, and Kevin Smith is just like, I like this frame.
Which is crazy when you think about it, because Kevin Smith is an established actor, director, producer, writer.
He is.
Like, he has more established credits probably than Bruce Willis for just acting and like his whole career.
Kevin Smith?
Like if you take his like writing, directing, like if you take all of his credits and add them all up, he probably has more credits for everything he's done than just Bruce Willis on acting.
No, I doubt that.
All right, maybe you're right. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know too much about Bruce Willis.
Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he does because he just throws his name in things.
But it's just like Kevin Smith. Like you know who Kevin Smith is. You know who Bruce Willis is. Maybe they're not like equals, but like Kevin Smith can tell someone what to do and how to act if it's his movie.
Yeah, I think that was part of the problem. Like you said, it's just an ego thing. You get intimidated, and
look at Christian Bale. Happens. Christian Bale playing Batman. Do you remember when the fucking audio leaked of him freaking out on set?
That was Terminator 4 or whatever it was. Genesis.
Was that?
Yeah, it was Terminator. Salvation.
Terminator?
Terminator.
Christian
Salvation.
Bale was in Terminator?
Which, if you look at the backstory of that, Christian Bale wasn't wrong for doing that.
What did he do?
So, they had already established the lighting and stuff, and they were going through blocking.
Mm-hmm.
So, they were just trying to get the mood of it, and Christian Bale is a super method actor, so he got very into the scene, and here comes this fucking guy, I don't remember if it was a gaffer or a grip or whatever, just walks on there and starts fucking with shit, and he got in his sight, he flipped out. It was just a wrong place, wrong time type deal.
But is that allowed as an actor?
Fuck yeah, man. I'm getting paid millions of dollars. I'm trying to do a job. I'm trying to do it right. And the guy he fucked up. Did he overreact? Sure.
Absolutely. You don't got to scream at stagehands.
People blowing it up is worse than what actually happened, I think.
Probably. Yeah. Because people, you see someone lose their shit. They're like, oh, clickbait. Here we go. Christian Bale. That's free promo for the movie. People are going to see the movie immediately now. Yeah. People are more interested in the clickbait stories as advertisements instead of making a trailer showing how good the movie is.
Yeah.
They'd rather have like on-set photos leak of the climax so people go see it and then they might like shift something around or like somebody freaking out. There was an actor, I forgot what actor it was, but there was an actor who they were filming a movie maybe last year and like audio leaked of him freaking out because someone wasn't wearing their mask on set and he's like, we all have a job to do. You all know what you all signed up for. Either you do it right or I leave. And like people were like, wow, good for him. And I'm like, you don't have to like freak out and like make a scene about things. You could just pull somebody aside, talk to them like a human being. But it's the ego. They think they're above it all.
Yeah. It's great. The leaking of stuff and all like the content that gets out and that's like almost more important than the actual art.
It goes back to people not caring about what the actual material is. It's what the commentators are going to say.
Right.
And how people are going to commentate on that and advertise for them in that sense. There's, I watch RuPaul's Drag Race. And, the newest season just came out. And before the season started, I knew every contestant who was going to get eliminated before they got eliminated. Because it all leaks.
Yeah.
But I still watched every episode looking fun and being like, oh.
How often do you just watch a show or you start watching a movie but immediately go on your phone to IMDb to read trivia about it?
I haven't done that in a while.
I do that. That's a bad habit.
It depends on what it is.
I do it with everything because I'm like, oh, good. I could look at my phone and find out information. It's like
I'll do that. I'll do that for a movie that I watched previously if I want to learn something new about it. Like I learned so much about the movie Josie and the Pussycats from doing research about it. If you haven't watched Josie and the Pussycats, it came out in 2001.
It's a 20-year-old movie, yeah.
If you haven't seen this movie, it is fucking amazing. When you
I feel like I've heard you talk about this movie.
Absolutely, I love this movie. I love this movie because it came out in the wrong year. If Josie and the Pussycats came out in like next week, people would flock to go see that shit. It has a great it was this close to being on my top 5 list, but it was a 2000s movie, not a 90s movie.
Right.
Actually, one of the movies that one of the guys chose, Vanilla Sky, I was like, that movie didn't come out in the 90s. They were like, Vanilla Sky came out in the 90s. I'm like, no, it didn't. It came out in like 2001 or 2002. I know. Ugh. I may not know a lot of things, but I could tell you when a movie came out, like the range of dates. But Josie and the Pussycats came out, and it was just a really like outsider looking in writing a movie. It would like if you it would be such a good comedy now if you watch it. Because the whole movie is about the music industry and product placement, advertisements, subliminal messages, getting people to buy things, capitalism. So the one scene, Tara Reid is taking a shower, and everything she's using to take a shower is all McDonald's brand things. She's got a French fry loofah. She's got a McDonald's thing. She's got this. Like the whole bathroom is decorated as McDonald's. And it's like it's the over pushing of product that like I don't know, for me I think it's great. I recommend everyone go see it. It did horrible when it came out. It cost so much to make it
because they got all these big names at the time.
Oh yeah but it was just a great film. Like if you that's a movie I'll put on anytime, any day, and I'll sit and watch it.
Have you seen Idiocracy?
No.
You've never seen Idiocracy?
There's a lot of movies I haven't seen. Who's in it?
Same idea as with the product placement and stuff. It's basically like, what is it, Rip Van Winkle? Guy falls asleep, wakes up 500 years in the future. So, and you got the fucking president is the porn star fighting champion, Hector Camacho Brando. And then you got... the smartest guy in the world is the guy who fell asleep, and like everything is branded. Costco owns the Brando owns the food pyramid, and Costco is like the Amazon or Mega Mart. So you get your law degree at Costco, you get your furniture at Costco, you get everything at Costco. It's got the train. It's just fucking.
Sounds like Costco to me.
Basically, what's going on now?
I was gonna say like you can get everything at Costco now. I'm 27. I just got a Costco membership like 2 months ago.
The guy goes to the doctor, and it's like a long ass line. And he has to put in a plug to his mouth, his nose, and his butt. And then they diagnose what you have. But the problem is they don't remember which one goes where.
Maybe some color coding might help.
Okay. Wait, hold on. No, this one goes in your butt.
I mean, I will say, like, people don't take as much pride. Like, that's not a false statement. People don't take as much pride in their like jobs as they used to. One of my clients just had the gastric sleeve surgery done, and she went for her follow-up appointment, and the doctor was like, "Yeah, you're all good." And the nurse was like, "No, her feet are very swollen. Like something's not right. Her feet are too swollen for her." And the doctor was like, "Oh, well, the nurse got something I missed." It's like, how are you missing that? You're supposed to be the one in charge.
It's not easy.
No,
it's not easy.
It's just observational.
Brought to you by Carl's Jr.
Have you ever had a Carl's Jr. item?
No, it's from Idiocracy.
Oh, it's
every time. Like, why do you keep saying that? Because they pay me every time I do.
Yeah. I mean, same thing with like the Truman Show. Like, remember Truman? Like, that was probably one of the first like outside like breaking that fourth wall type of a movie that I can remember of. And it was great.
Yeah.
I like movies that kind of break the fourth wall where they know that it's supposed to be a joke. Like Showgirls. That's one of the worst movies you could ever watch if you don't know that it's a campy movie. If you like Rocky Horror Picture Show, that's a campy movie.
I don't know if I'd say Showgirls is a campy movie.
Oh, no. Showgirls. Here's the problem. The main lead actress, Elizabeth Berkley, she thought she was going to win a fucking Oscar for that movie. She was like, this is it. This is the big break for my career. Gina Gershon's like, no, this movie is a fucking joke. That's why that's why some of the acting is the way that it is in this movie, is because we knew it was supposed to be a joke.
But she took it very seriously, Elizabeth Berkley.
Because she didn't know, and no one filled her in.
But that's what kind of made that movie kind of like...
That was the problem, is you have all these people. You have all these people that are sitting around watching this one person take it seriously, and they're all in on the joke except for her. So that's probably part of like the magic of the movie. But that movie got horrible reviews. That movie ruined her career. What have you seen Elizabeth Berkley in?
Well, I mean, she didn't have much of a career.
That was her first film after doing Saved by the Bell. She thought that was going to reinvent her and skyrocket her to fame.
It did reinvent her.
It just didn't skyrocket her to fame.
Did not. Well, you know what? A lot
maybe
of people
Infamy,
know her for that movie.
Infamy, Versace, the fucking the pool scene. But like, think of something like Elizabeth Berkley in Showgirls and how it didn't do much for her career, and then think about Neve Campbell and Denise Richards in Wild Things. You got two movies that they're different, but like
one was good.
Exactly. Well, no, one, the actress knew what they were supposed to be doing, and the other one, they didn't.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Berkley, she was taking it too seriously. Neve Campbell, Denise Richards, let's make out in the fucking pool. Let's have a good time.
Yeah.
And it changed the trajectory of their career for the better, rather than her career, which wasn't for the better. Now she's on the Saved by the Bell reboot, because that's all people know her for.
Showgirls could have been a good movie if the people about like in it cared a little bit more. Like it was about a girl trying to make it and dance and become Vegas and stuff like that.
If people took the script more serious, it would have been even worse, because the script wasn't meant to be taken seriously. So,
but it could have been good.
It could have been.
It was
almost been like if everybody was on the same page.
Yeah, but almost like Black Swan, like the amount of effort it takes to get to that moment.
Oh yeah,
like it could have been something like that, but they threw in these garbage backstories and these romance angles to it, and it's just like, dude, this sucks.
There's a few movies that like should have had their time, like even TV shows that like should have been better received. Could have been. I still will die on the hill of saying there's a show that Showtime came out with in the early 2000s called Dead Like Me.
Yeah.
And did you ever see that?
I know of it, but I never watched it.
That show came out way too early. That show should have came out 5 years ago. If that show came out after American Horror Story premiered, that show would have been one of the most successful shows on Showtime. It had a great cast. It had an amazing plot. It had awesome writing. It was just too ahead of its time.
I think it's just when too many people have their hands in things, it gets muddled. And I think that's a lot of the time that's what happens.
So that is true, but like for this show, Dead Like Me, you have an excellent storyline. This is what happens to some people when they die. They become Grim Reapers and they collect the souls of those who are about to be dead next. You've got a great cast of people. You had all these different personalities that just bounced really well off of each other in the show. The main character, Georgia, had some of the best fucking dialogue in the show. She was sassy, sarcastic, cynical, always had a joke, always talked back. Fucking 18-year-old who just died from a flying toilet seat from outer space. The first episode, she's like on her lunch break after getting this bullshit like job that she didn't want to take, but she had to because her mother forced her to take it. And she's on her lunch break. She's her lunch hour. They said, all right, be back in 35 minutes. She goes, but it's my lunch hour. And he's like, yeah, well, you only get 35 minutes, so tick-tock. She's on her break. She gets a hot dog, sees the flying toilet seat coming at her, and her last dying words are, oh, shit.
I mean, what else would you say?
I don't know. It was such a good show with really interesting plot points. I wish that it got the justice it deserves, because it did. It came out too early. People weren't ready for a show like that at the time.
And that's
it got happens, 3 seasons.
That's what happens.
Same thing with United States of Tara, a Steven Spielberg Diablo Cody pairing. You got two great people working together with Toni Collette.
Toni Collette just can't make it.
No, this show was great. It just didn't have the audience it needed to survive. The first season of United States of Tara, it got canceled after the first season. But then Toni Collette swept up award after award after award.
Yeah.
And they were like, all right, we'll give you another season. And then it got 2 more after that. And it just left so many plot holes that needed to be closed up after it got canceled the second time.
But see, that's what happens. Like the writer has this vision, writes this story, and then the producer comes in or the studio comes in and just goes, all right, we're going to change all of that you just worked for. And then you have to also write 2 more seasons based on our changes. Yeah. It's not your vision. So even though you're a writer and you can tell a story, you have a vision, and it just completely gets muddled, and it turns into this thing that everyone else sees, but nobody understands that wasn't exactly what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
So that's why when you actually see a good show or a good team or a good anything,
oh yeah,
it's like there were so many obstacles against that when this product came to you, it's like, they figured it out. I don't know how they did it. I don't know what deal they made with the devil, but they figured it out.
That's how I feel about Ryan Murphy with certain things.
So some things.
So like he came out with Nip Tuck.
Yeah.
The first season of Nip Tuck was fucking perfect.
It was like his first.
That was one of his first shows. Stuff. So he did Nip Tuck, and it was really good. And then in classic Ryan Murphy fashion, it just took a nosedive to shit, because I feel like certain creators, once they get to a certain point with the vision, it's like, okay, well, I've already told like enough stories that I could tell. The show either needs to end or like they need to tell me what to do. So then you're not caring about what you're writing because you're just producing more because that's what the network wants.
Yeah.
So then once that show ended, he went to Glee, which what a fucking nosedive. Like what a 180 from Nip Tuck, plastic surgery, and like I want to say the first 3 seasons of Nip Tuck were probably some of the best television I've ever seen. And then the rest of the show just slowly decreased into madness and bullshit.
Yeah.
Glee, same thing. Started off really strong, and then it just got so popular that Ryan Murphy said, I could do whatever I want and they'll still like it. And then he started doing stupid songs that shouldn't have been. It's like, it's one thing when you hear Kids Bop doing it. It's another when you hear like adults singing the Kids Bop version of a song for Fox. And then after Glee, he had American Horror Story, which like is probably the only show so far that has been able to outlast his normal writing method, because each season is taking place in a different part of a universe with different storylines, different people. It's just just horrible storytelling, because I feel like at some point he just loses the drive. He did that show Scream Queens, which I was hoping was going to be like a mix of Glee with American Horror Story, and it kind of was. It just had the most outlandish writing and some of the dumbest storylines. And then now he did American Horror Stories, which is supposed to be a version of American Horror Story that takes place within the universe. Everyone's trying to be like Marvel now. Marvel started this whole universe thing, and now DC's trying to do it. Ryan Murphy's doing it with American Horror Story. It's not a bad idea. It's just if you don't do it right, it's fucking horrible.
And then too many people put their hands in there, and then it becomes a train wreck.
On
top of that, with superhero stories or with Ryan Murphy stuff, there's too many characters. Like, there's too many things to care about. Like, we can't have fucking 3 superheroes and 15 villains in one movie. That's too much. Like,
that is too much.
Like, how many people do I have to care about? It's what Batman versus Joker. That's it. That's all I can handle mentally. I can't fucking deal with all this other bullshit.
I just watched the new Suicide Squad movie.
I heard that one was actually really good.
The first Suicide Squad was good.
No, it wasn't.
The first, all right. Was it great? No. Was it bad?
Yes.
No.
It was bad. It was very bad.
Maybe because I only paid attention to Margot Robbie, it was good.
She was good. That's why she got her own spin-off.
That's why she got her recast. That's why they got her own. She got her own spin-off, and then it got fucking horrible reviews because it was an all-female production.
Because it was a bad movie.
No, fuck off. I'll stand here all day. Birds of Prey was a good overall movie. Better than Suicide Squad. Better than some of the Superman movies. Better than some of the fucking Batman movies.
Yeah, but all those movies you're mentioning are also bad.
Absolutely. I'm
saying just because it was better than those bad movies doesn't make it good. She's good playing Harley Quinn.
She's great at playing Harley Quinn.
But they don't write it well, or they try to go like this, it has to be dark and has to be weird, and they go too far with it. It's like DC cannot get it right. Marvel gets it right because they have people. Yeah. Because they have the comic book creators
2 Marvel movies
sit in. But the Marvel movies are infinitely better than DC because DC.
Well, Marvel's got the budget because they've got the reputation of putting out good movies, so they're obviously going to get a higher budget because they've already proven themselves in the past. And the thing with Marvel is,
Yeah, but
Marvel had this idea for years.
And they weren't always, though.
No, but they slowly started to up. Like it started with like the X-Men movies being Marvel. Like those started off really good.
It started
and
off
then
with,
Iron Man, and then Spider-Man, and like all these franchises kept building, and then they're like, well, now let's show everyone how they're all connected. Bring in the Avengers.
Yeah, like the first 2 Spider-Mans kicked it off. First one,
Tobey Maguire ones.
The origin.
Yeah.
The second one was probably one of the best Spider-Man movies ever made.
You think?
Doc Ock, yeah, because it was like dark. It was.
Well, he's gonna be in the new one, so.
Yeah, and then they brought in this third thing that they did with fucking Venom and Sandman and who was the other one in that one? There was 3 villains that were unnecessary. They didn't need. The Goblin, fucking Harry. Horrible. Like, what do you need everybody to be in?
I thought he was the villain in the third one. No, the second one. James Franco's character.
Franco didn't like really turn into him until the third one.
So
like it was first one. Spider-Man becomes Spider-Man.
Green Goblin.
Green Goblin. See, 1 versus 1. Easy. I can follow that. Second one, Spider-Man versus Doc Ock. I can follow that. This is 1 versus 1. That's easy. Third one, dancing Tobey Maguire versus Venom, Dark Spider-Man, Sandman.
Too much. Yeah, they were doing too much.
It's like, come on, dude. What the fuck are we doing here?
I don't even know if I like remember the third one at all. I remember the Sandman character.
Who could have been so fucking cool.
I mean, like some of the graphics were pretty cool, but they rushed the things. They rush it too much because they
put too many things in. And when you try to put too many things in, it gets confusing and nobody wants to watch it.
That's true. And Ryan, you're right. Ryan Murphy is guilty of that. He did that. He does that a lot in American Horror Story because he's planting the Easter eggs for future seasons. Like they mentioned aliens in season 2 of American Horror Story. And that came out in like 2011, 2012. We're in 2021, and season 10 is finally going to have like an alien storyline where it's like, but is it even connected to the second season? Who knows?
It might be. I mean,
season 5 of American Horror Story is one of my favorites. But the problem that some people have with Ryan Murphy is that they don't realize that sometimes he writes for everybody and sometimes he writes just for the gays. Season 5 is a season for the gays. Seasons 3, 5, and 8 are for the gays. And if you either love it or you hate it as a season. Season 5 had probably one of my favorite storylines, The Haunted Hotel, Lady Gaga, Angela Bassett, Kathy Bates, all-star cast. And had a lot of storylines going on all at the same time, but it was just enough that you didn't lose focus on what was the main story.
Yeah, it's hard to do that.
It is.
Yeah, it's incredibly.
But a lot of people say that like season 5 had too much going on. I was like, it had too much going on if you weren't paying attention to the right parts. There was a lot. Of course, there's always a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
But people have now they've clued in on, well, you don't put enough. Now I'm bored. Now I'm scrolling on Instagram. I'll find something to keep my attention instead. So you got to find like that sweet balance of like too much and not enough.
He has some other cool stuff that he does. I think he did the OJ stuff for FX.
So now here's where things are getting out of hand. It started with American Horror Story.
Yeah.
And then it branched into American Crime Story. So
I thought he did great with.
He did the assassination of Gianni Versace. He did the O.J. Simpson trial, and now they're coming out with the impeachment story.
Oh, that's him too, right?
That's him too.
See, I love that shit.
So now,
I think that
that's good. Crime, people fucking love true crime. True crime is a humongous audience to cater to. And he started catering to true crime in American Horror Story because he would put true crime stories in and make them part of the universe.
Right.
So season 1, he had the Black Dahlia. Season 2, he had Anne Frank. Season 3, he had just real people from that time. Like Daphne LaLaurie was a real person. Madame, I forgot her name, but Angela Bassett's character, the Voodoo Queen of New Orleans, she was a real character. Season 5, Hotel Cortez was based on the Hotel Cecil. Hotel Cecil, Elisa Lam storyline, like there's always something. Roanoke, the Lost Colony of Roanoke, all the successful storylines of American Horror Story originate because of some true story somewhere that pushes it over. When you do that, that's great. So then you focus on a true crime story. Of course, people are going to pay attention. O.J. Simpson trial? Fuck yeah, I'm going to watch that.
Yeah. How old were you when that happened?
What year did that happen in?
92?
No.
92, 94?
I was a baby. Newborn.
94?
It happened in 1994. The O.J. Simpson, the O.J. Simpson murder happened in 1994. And then the impeachment, like huge story. People are obviously going to watch that. But then people watch it. People watch those things because the characters that they cast playing the real life people do so well. I remember Sarah Paulson was doing season 5 of American Horror Story, playing Hypodermic Sally, a drug addict stuck in the 90s with crimped hair, always crying, addicted to drugs, getting other people high. Went from that character to playing from like 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. in the middle of the night to checking in at 9 a.m. Get ready. I'm Marcia Clark on American Crime Story.
Isn't that right?
She played 2 characters at the exact same time.
Isn't that wild? It's fucking hard, man.
So I'll say this. Sarah Paulson would be nothing without Ryan Murphy because he really gets to showcase her talent and gives her the chance to do so. They just started the new season of American Horror Story. The first 2 episodes came out last week, and her character is Tuberculosis Karen, and she's the only fucking person I can talk about from that show that hasn't pissed me off. She's a great character on that show. She always steals the show.
Yeah. I liked her in that other thing he did with the nurse. What's it called?
Oh, Ratchet? Really?
Ratchet, yeah.
See that?
But she was the only part of it that I kind of liked, and the rest of it was just like too weird for me.
I want to know how Nurse Ratchet from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, like, how is that her origin story?
That's where it lost me because it didn't make any sense.
Yeah, because Nurse Ratchet from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest to Sarah Paulson's Nurse Ratchet, those are 2 fucking different bitches.
Very different.
Two different bitches. So I only watched maybe the first 3 or 4 episodes. I made it to 6 of that season. It just didn't suck me in like it normally does.
It was just something to watch.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly.
So you want to see how it ends?
It's something that was on.
So you start it and then you get all involved in it. And it's like, I don't love this. If I don't watch it, it's fine. But I might as well just finish it just to see what happens.
No, I couldn't do that.
And
I can't do that.
Yeah, we did that.
But now the problem with Ryan Murphy is they got American Horror Story, American Crime Story, and now they just contracted him to do American Love Story and American Sports Story. And it's like, at what point, how many franchises is it going to be?
What's American Love Story?
It's probably just about a famous love story. Like he might do it on like Diana and Charles.
I guess. I'm not bad.
But for me, that should be an American Crime Story. But American Love Story, American Sports Story, it's like, okay, but like, why? What's the end goal? Is that going to be the new thing? Is just like all the different stories about, like, when is it American Gym Story?
Oh yeah, let's do that about Dark Athletics and how we are amazing.
Start it, and Ryan Murphy might buy it off you. Write a script, write us something. I don't know.
Vince Stampoulos is the main character.
I would love that.
You and Eric.
If you give me a script and you give me material to memorize and learn it, I could be a great actor. Because I was an actor. I fucking was in movies and shit. I did drama club and theater when I was in school.
All right, so we're gonna
but I was always I fuck Sarah Paulson. I played 2 plays at the same time. I was in 2 plays.
All right, so we'll do a little a short film for YouTube.
Oh, great.
Vince and I.
Love that.
It'll be fun. We'll script it out. Coming in 2023. We gotta find a budget.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say when we get the budget for it, yeah.
Speaking of that and all the sponsorship, we are looking for sponsors for our October 30th Monmouth Championship. So click the link in the description.
You should try to get like a Halloween sponsor because it's Halloween themed.
Dude, I will take any sponsor that wants to do it.
Think about that though. It's Halloween, so maybe like throw in a costume contest, like a singlet contest.
Yeah, we're probably not gonna do that.
Singlet contest! Whoever has the most creative singlet.
Yeah, we're not going to do that, but we could do that another time. Separate.
I was at a meet one time and this guy had a singlet on it. It was a fucking dog.
Pug.
I loved it. No, it was a dog. I've seen the pug one too, but it was like I've seen so many different singlets over the years.
There's some weird ones out there.
I know. I actually just bought on Amazon. I bought a wrestling singlet just because I was like, "There's no way that this is legitimately gonna look like this on my body." It's like one of those like old school singlets, so it's like really high thigh and it just covers my nipples.
The Borat suit, you got to get that one.
No, I can't do a banana hammock. I don't want that. I don't want the chafing that comes with that. I remember when John Mayer walked on a boat for comfort.
You wear that for the picture, and that's it.
No, see that's the problem. Is like I'll wear something like, oh, I should take a photo. I look real good right now, and then I never do, and I'm like, well, at least people got to see it.
So we were toying around with the idea of putting out a calendar for only guys, but not ripped guys. So Eric, you can't be in it. Sorry. So only like guys who have like
everyday bodies.
We work out, but we're everyday. Like I'm gonna stick my belly out and stuff. We'll put like there could be 1 month of just meat, like just meat hanging. We're just sitting there.
That should be what's a popular month for like barbecuing and smoking? July. July's gotta be hot dogs.
It could be deli meats.
July's got to be hot dogs because then you could have somebody eating a hot dog.
Oh yeah, there could be a barbecue one. There could be I want a candy one. I was just sitting in a bowl of Skittles.
Halloween.
Yeah, there you go.
Halloween, just a bunch of candy.
So it would be like a fire one.
This is a great concept for a calendar. You should really do it.
I would love to do this, but we have to get a budget. So if enough people sponsor this show, we will make that Dark Athletics calendar.
And I will say, I can guarantee you that me and Alex would definitely be a part of that calendar. If you need average looking people, we got you.
I bet you we could sell the shit out of this calendar too.
Make an OnlyFans for it? Are you kidding me? Do you know how many people are into fat people now?
It wouldn't even be about fat people.
But like, you know what I mean? Like people don't care about like how ripped you are anymore. People don't care about that. They're like, oh, I love that soft belly. It's great for cuddling.
Yeah.
I don't need abs. They're hard. So I'm finally like, all right, people are appreciating me for the talents I can bring to the table.
That's right, man.
Fuck being ripped.
You are in.
That's what she said.
Dad bods all day.
That's the problem, though, is people take dad bod thing, they take it to a whole nother level. People post dad bods because they ate like a Chipotle burrito for lunch and they got a little pouch at the bottom of their six pack. Like if I ever see Eric post about, oh, it's dad bod day, go fuck yourself. I'm stealing that insulin machine out of your ass. People take the dad bod thing.
I'll make sure he posts that tomorrow.
People think dad bod is like, you just have a little gut. No. A dad bod is defined as a guy who looks like he can work out, but also drinks a lot of beer.
Yeah.
So like for me, dad bod, you got decent legs, decent arms. Your chest is flat enough that you don't have like boobs, and then you got a little beer belly.
And you wear jorts.
That's the dad bod like complete look, the starter pack. You got to have those fucking white shoes with the white socks. Not up to here. They got to be just above the ankle.
Yeah.
They got to be that awkward above ankle height. And then the jorts, but they got to be the carpenter jorts with the side pocket. The side pocket like that. And then what would the shirt be? Just some stupid shirt with a graphic on it like this isn't a beer gut, it's a gas tank for the sex machine.
Yeah, there you go. It's got to have a dad joke.
It's got to have a dad joke.
Joke.
And if you don't know, that's what my father dresses like. So my dad is the definition of like the dad bod starter pack. Because that's exactly what I just described my father. He has those white shoes. He has the ankle socks. Such an awkward length of sock.
Like not the quarter, but not a full like ankle, but like just above like that.
It's like the
original ankle sock.
It's the sock you wear when you're wearing a capri cut pant and you want a full coverage on the leg, because the capri cut comes to here and then the sock comes to there.
Yeah.
So you got just that much skin showing.
Just enough.
It's the dumbest. Either a no show, a low rise ankle, or just go for the full calf length.
Let's just get knee socks.
I want mid thigh.
Mid thigh socks. Yeah.
Get me a pair of socks to go all the way to the mid thigh, and I'll wear the skimpiest shorts. I probably do because like my quad and like calf ratio, it probably wouldn't fit very well.
All right, man. We're gonna wrap this one up.
We had no subject for this, and we just talked for fucking ever.
I thought this was actually pretty good.
I had a great time. I always have a good time on the MarbleCast.
All right, where can everybody find you, Vince? Remind everybody about the Superfriends sit down.
Everybody can find me at my house. That's right. Superfriends sit down. Me and my co-host Alex sit down every week. We talk about bullshit. And we actually just implemented a new segment called Grammar for Gays. That actually, I meant to tell you.
Grammar for non-gays.
Well, so that he sprung that on me last week, where it was like he wanted to call it Gay Dictionary, but I came up with Grammar for Gays on the spot, and he's like, "Damn, that was good." And I was like, "All right, well, we'll just do it." Where it's like you ask me a phrase, and he asked me what I thought a certain thing meant, and now, like this week, we're gonna ask each other. So he's gonna ask me something, I guess, traditionally straight, and what I think, and I'm gonna ask him like a gay term and see what he thinks it is, and we're gonna go with that. But then we also ask each other questions about the topic of the episode and bounce off of that. So a lot of fun. Super Friends, sit down. Don't forget the S at the end of Super Friends, and we're on Instagram. We have a YouTube. Don't bother, it's dead. If you want to follow us on YouTube, Joe, subscribe.
I've subscribed. It's good.
Tell everyone where to find you.
Every Wednesday,
they didn't know where to find you.
Super Friends sit down on Spotify,
Anchor, Apple, everywhere you listen to podcasts.
All of those
except
things.
for YouTube.
And not YouTube. Don't go to YouTube for Superfriends Sit Down, but do come to YouTube for the Dark Athletics podcast, the MarbleCast, which you're listening to right now. We appreciate you. Vince, thank you so much for coming on again.
Thank you. Ooh.
And thank you guys for listening. Go to the show notes, go to the links in the description, go click on a few, buy some stuff. I'd appreciate it. And maybe we'll get that calendar for 2022. We appreciate you guys listening. Age is inevitable. Weakness is not. So get out there and live some shit. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
I should be Cupid.
Thanks for watching today's MarbleCast. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any content. Check out our Spreadshirt shop to grab some swag. And if you would like to support the MarbleCast, please head over to anchor.fm. All of the links are in the description, and it helps us out to keep the channel running. Thanks so much, guys. See you next time.